Hello. It feels really good to be here. My question is, so what I've slowly but almost immediately realized is that I am actually a creative genius, is
Yes,
what
you
I
are.
am.
Yes, you
And what I would like to know today is how can, in my work and in my family, teach children how they're creating their own life. As a parent, we want our children to have the best life, but really we're ultimately not in charge. They are. So how can we teach children the principles of law of attraction and allowing?
Well, the thing that you want to focus upon is remember that they came forth from source and that they have inner beings that are very close to them. And if you would just concentrate on nurturing that connection. In other words, think about it. Think about a child that's about to spill milk or about to fall in the pond or about to do something that you know they're not going to like and you're not going to like it either. And you abruptly scream at them as if they don't know what they're doing. That's not nurturing to their state of connection. Now, of course, you're not wanting them to step into the street and you're not wanting them to fall off a crevasse. In other words, you're wanting to be there to guide them. But if you will just keep in mind always that your dominant intent with them is to help them and their vibrational relativity between who they are and what they're doing right now and who they really are. So smiling and loving and feeling good yourself and looking for reasons to compliment. And here's the biggest one of all, and you're really going to like this. Do you understand what negative emotion is? In other words, you know what it feels like, but what it is, it's the indication that right now I'm thinking a thought that's so far off track of what my inner being thinks that I'm not even in the vicinity of my inner being. Did you get that? That's what negative emotion means. That means I've chosen a thought. Maybe I got it from my mother. Maybe I got it from my teacher. Maybe I picked it up from a friend. But I'm thinking a thought, and that thought is so vibrationally resistant, so different relativity than the vibration of my source and my inner being and who my inner being is and how my inner being feels about who I am, that I'm not even in the vibrational vicinity. So when you think about that, what that's saying is, when you look at yourself and you see yourself as unworthy or inappropriate or incapable, those thoughts are so foreign to your inner being that you can't even be near your inner being's vibration when you think those thoughts. So here's the point that we're taking this long way around to get to because it's such an important thing. When you are interacting with children and you see them do something that you don't want them to do and you shine a spotlight on it, you've done something their own inner being would never, ever, 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 ever do. You're accentuating their departure from who they really are and insisting that they accentuate it too. We would be cognizant of their relationship with their inner being and always trying to nurture that. Then we would be looking for things that make them feel good and we'd be watching for behavior that is behavior of connection, and we would reinforce that, we would restate that, we would compliment that, and we would give that our undivided attention. And the other stuff, we'd treat them just like their inner being does. We would turn the other cheek.
Okay. That makes a tremendous amount of sense.
Jerry and Esther accidentally, although there are no accidents, watched Super Nanny. Have you seen it? Children that are so out of control, their parents are being held hostage by these children. And at first, Esther couldn't believe what she was seeing because she hears Abraham talk about how the children are pure positive energy, and Esther is not really seeing that in these children. And then Super Nanny enters the scene and lays down some guidelines and has a naughty zone where they go. But what Super Nanny does is she believes in their ability to have a nice family, and she lines up her energy with that, and she believes in her techniques. And so she's very persuasive. In other words, she is able to get them to align with that. And so in a very short period of time, children who have been utterly unruly and impossible seeming to live with come round to being happier, feeling better, certainly being nicer to be around. And so then Jerry and Esther are feeling a little uneasy about all of this. And so they want our opinion. Abraham, what's going on here? And Jerry's question to us, in what ways does what you teach align, and in what ways does it not? And we said it aligns in the sense that if you are clear about what you want and you are in alignment about what you want, you are able to convey that in a way that these children who want to please then can easily follow. So parents that are scattered, or even with each other, or even a mother who knows what she wants but is more beating the drum of what she does not want, will elicit from her children what she does not want. And then the worse it gets, the worse it gets, the worse it gets. So being clear about what you want and lining up with what you want is certainly a technique that is working in that environment. But then we said, when you offer negative consequences, in other words, this bad behavior is going to net you these bad consequences, and you make the consequences proportionate to what they have done wrong, but uncomfortable enough that they don't want to experience that, you can evoke for yourself some measure of control. But you have not taught your children anything about self-guidance. You've only taught them to fear the consequences that you have the power to offer to them. And you see how it works with your laws, with your enforcement. In other words, that just does not work. It's only the self-guiding from the inside that ever works, you see. And so we would not have a naughty zone. We would not be punishing them. We would not take their toys away for things that they have done wrong. We would be looking for evidence of alignment. We would work for it for ourselves. We would demonstrate it every chance we get. We would compliment them when they see it. We would talk to them about their connection. It doesn't matter how little they are. We'd let them know that they have guidance that comes forth from within. We would encourage them to learn to trust that. We would honor it, whatever they decide to do. We would never contradict what they think that they've received guidance about. We would set a clear and powerful example, and we would expect them to live happily ever after.
So, if a child is naughty,
meaning
not connected to who they truly are, not
well, now wait a minute,
disrupting peace,
because someone else's version of naughty doesn't mean that they're not connected to who they are. There are a lot of children who are fully connected to who they are, who are doing things that others around them consider to be naughty. In other words, the teacher in the classroom wants them compliant and quiet. And tuned in, tapped in, turned on is not necessarily that. So, by naughty, you mean not keeping the rule that someone else has established as the rule? That's tricky.
That is tricky. A child who disrespects another child or harms another child.
All right, so give us an example of something that happens often, or that happened, and when it happened it was big, and we'll show you what we would do.
Okay, a sibling becomes frustrated and strikes his sibling.
All right, so the most important thing that you've said here is becomes frustrated. Now, what does that mean? That means that this child had a desire for something that in that moment he was not a vibrational match to. In other words, he really wanted something that the situation made him feel he could not achieve. And do you know anyone who feels good when they think they can't have something that they want? In other words, down there in those negative emotions, every single time is a feeling of disempowerment. So if another child is bigger, or another child has mommy on his side, and so mommy always gives him what he wants, and this one, in other words, there are lots of different dynamics. But so you said the key word when you said, my child is frustrated. And so that's the thing that, as you think about what we've been talking here about these two concurrent journeys. So you see your child pitching a fit, he's acting inappropriately by your standards, maybe even he's clobbered his little brother or big brother over the head with something. That's what's happening. But in the emotional journey, he's feeling frustration. And so, in answer to your first question still further, as his mother or mentor or teacher or soother, you're wanting to help soothe that frustration. What happens is, when you're right in the middle of the action stuff, it feels like you have to do something with action. But doing something with action doesn't do anything about the vibration that will produce another action and another action and another action and another action. So if you could, we would encourage you to stop in the middle of that and see if you can figure out what the basis of his frustration is. And acknowledge that if he has frustration frustration that is strong enough that he's hitting somebody over the head, it's moved from frustration into anger, even into revenge. In other words, it's a very strong resistance within there, which means he's got a very strong desire that's active at the same time that he has belief that he has no freedom to achieve his desire. So someone who would intervene and say, wait a minute, there's something that you really want here. What is it that you want? Just turning and simply saying, what is it that you want? And most likely would say, I want him to stop doing that. And you say, wait. That's not what I want to hear from you. I want to hear, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? Let's take your little brother out of the equation altogether. What is it that you want? And he might say, well, I just wanted to sit here and play in peace, or I just wanted to do it my way, or I wanted to put it together the way I wanted to put it together. And then you want to stop and say to him, that's valid. You get to want what you want. It's good that you want what you want. And then we would say, and the reason that you feel so bad right now is because you think that you can't get what you want. I think you can get what you want. Don't you think you can get what you want? In other words, help him to realize that he can get what he wants. He can get what he wants within the framework that's laid out there. He can get what he wants, even with other things happening around him, you see. Children will acclimate back to their alignment with Source much more easily than if you were dealing with adults in an office setting. In other words, they are much more resilient. They are much quicker to tell you what they really want, and they are much quicker to release the grudge. In other words, the vibration that they've got activated in this moment is not nearly as activated in them as it is an adult under a similar situation. And so it doesn't take very much of you stepping in and making it known that you think that it is right for them to get what they want too, and that you're on their side about getting what they want. But there are a lot of ways to get what you want, and somebody else doesn't have to give up something for you to get what you want. That's the message that you want to get across to your children. Everybody can win here, but if you're focused upon what you want and focused upon not getting what you want, you're messing up your own experience. And if you can get them to focus upon what they want, those conflicts will go away almost immediately. Really, they will. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is delicious to interact with those like you, who are coming more and more in every day to understand who you are. It is our desire that you lighten up about this. We all make far too much of this. Really, we do. We want you to just be more playful. Look for humor in more things. Give more people the benefit of the doubt. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Make more lists of positive aspects. Make longer lists of things that you love about different situations and people. Tune yourself to the best things of your life. Begin to talk about the things in your life that you like most, and keep those most active in your vibration. When you catch yourself talking about something that you don't want, just laugh and say, there I go again. I'm keeping something active that I don't mean to, and it's just an old habit. And little by little, I'm leaving that habit behind. And then tell everyone you know that life is getting better and better for you, and that things are coming all around just the way they're supposed to. And when people ask you how you're doing, tell them that you're right on schedule, that you have this ongoing list of desires that are unfolding, and let them know that even though the list is not complete and that it never will be, that you are satisfied with things as they're coming. And as you begin to shine a spotlight on the things about your life that are working, you will begin to activate the vibration that matches who you really are. And as you activate the vibration that matches who you really are, you will be filled with clarity. You will be filled with stamina. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. You will find yourself rendezvousing with more things. More things will begin to line up for you. As Jerry and Esther checked into the RV park, and the woman behind the desk said, we've put you on site 333. And Esther said, yes! And the woman looked at her like she was crazy. What's so special about site 333, the woman is wondering. And Esther is thinking to herself, 333, 222, 111, 555, 666. It all just means alignment to me. Anytime anything lines up, I celebrate that alignment. When I want something and it shows up, I celebrate that alignment. I am enjoying the conspiring universe that seems to be determined to give me everything I want, you see. That's the way it is for you. That's the way it is supposed to be for you. We are enjoying watching the evolution of your desire. And we want you to feel as good about your unfulfilled desires as we do. Because those unfulfilled desires are the promise of the future. Sometimes you live contrast and you launch rockets of desires that future generations will benefit from. This gathering is not about that, because that is inevitable. This gathering is about you benefiting from your rockets of desires. You're supposed to be in on this. You're supposed to get the fruits of your labors. There is great love here for you. And for now, we are complete.